Welcome back. Currently, we are learning Python, and this is day 20 of the playlist titled Python Beginner Boost. And in this video, we will look at one real life example to understand object oriented programming. We will be revising the concept which we have learned in the last video, which is about classes and objects, and use the same thing to understand one real life example for understanding object oriented programming. So first of all, we will try to create a class named student, and we will store the information of a student using the concept of classes and objects, and we'll try to access the student information using the object attributes and methods. So first of all, let's create a class. So for creating a class, we have to use the keyword class and then the name of the class, which will be student and colon. After that, we will first create an init method inside the class which will act as a constructor and initializes the attributes of the class. So let's create a method def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and the first parameter while creating the init method is named a self. So we will create the self, and here I will pass the attributes which I want to set for this student object. So I will set name, age, and roll number, and we have to use the colon, and then our Visual Studio Code will automatically intend our code. So first of all, we will set the name. So self dot name equals to name, self dot age equals to age, and self dot roll number equals to roll number. And we will create one more parameter, which is one more attribute, which is attendance, and by default its value will be 0. So by default, for the first time when the student object will be created, its attendance will be 0, and we will add the attendance, and we'll also try to fetch the attendance information along with if the student is eligible for giving the exam or not. So we will do that. So first of all, let's try to create one object for this class. So student 1, and here we will create, we have to use the name of the class student, and after that we have to pass the parameters. The first one is the name, so name of the student, which is John Doe. Second is age, which is 20, and then the roll number. So let's give some roll number A123. So this is the roll number of the student. So this is how we have created a student. Let me create one more student. First of all, I will like to execute the code, and then I will create the second student. So here I will write Python 3, then oops dot py, and press enter. And as you can see on screen, nothing is printed, but let's try to print the attribute of this object. So first of all, I will try to print the attribute, which is name. So we have to use the name of the object, which is student1. After that, the attribute which I want to print, which is name, and save the code and execute the code. As you can see on screen, if I make it bigger, Tondo is printed on screen. Now let me print the attendance. By default we have set it to 0. Let's confirm it is set to 0 or not. Student1 dot attendance, save the code, and we will execute this code, and as you can see on screen, 0 is printed. Now let me create one more object of the type student. So I will create one more object, student 2, and it will have a name. I will give some name, uh, Jane Smith, ages 21, and roll number as B123. So here also we have set we have created one object which is named as student 2, and we have set the attribute name, age and roll number as Jane Smith 21 and B123 respectively. And if I print the detail of the students like name and attendance, then it will print Jane Smith and 0. Let me execute this code. As you can see on the screen, Jane Smith and 0 is printed. Also, let me write here some message. Print student 1 detail. So we are printing the student 1 detail after this line, and after this line we are printing the student 2 detail. Let me print it. I will save the code, and also I want to update the student 2 attendance to 1. And if I now print this line, which is student 2 dot attendance, then it will print 1. So let me execute this code. As you can see on screen, first of all, this statement student 1 detail is printed. After that we are printing name and attendance. So John Doe and 0 is printed. After that we are printing student 2 detail, so it is printed here. Then we are printing the name of the student, which is Jane Smith. After that we are printing the attendance, which is 0. After that on line number 22 we are setting the attendance as 1. So on line number 23 it is being updated to 1. So this is how we create objects and set the attribute, and also try to access the attribute using dot notation. Now let's try to create a method inside this class. So we will create a method to print the information of a student. So def, and I will name the method as display underscore info, which is for information, and we have to pass the self keyword here. And then on the next line we will like print, and we will use the app string for that. So now here I want to print name, age, roll number along with attendance. So first of all I will print name, which will be printed using self dot name, and I will try to add a comma, and after that I want to print the age. So age colon, and here self dot age. After that again one comma will go here. Then roll number, so roll number, and here I will try to print self dot roll number, and the last attribute will be the attendance. So here attendance, and here I will access self dot attendance. So we have created a method which is only doing one thing, which is to print the information of the student. So first of all, after, like, we can remove these lines as they are not required. So let me remove this. Also I will remove this along with this. So we have created a student 1. Now let's try to access the display information method of the student class. So student 1, and we have to use the dot notation. After that we have to use the name of the function which we want to execute, which is display info, and we will use a parenthesis after that. So let's execute this code, and as you can see on screen, if I make it little bit bigger, name, age, roll number, and attendance of the student named John Doe is printed. John Doe is printed. And if I again execute this, copy this line and paste it for student 2 here. So here we are printing the student information, and again we are updating the attendance, and then we are printing the information. Let's try to execute it again. And as you can see on the screen, first of all, name John Doe, age, roll number, and attendance is 0. It is printed. Then we are printing the detail of student 2. And here, first of all, name, age, roll number, and attendance is 0. After that, on line number 22, we are setting the attendance as 1. That's why it is printing attendance as 1 on the next line. So here, currently we are done with creating a class and setting the default values of the attributes using the constructor, not the default values, the values which are provided while creating the objects. And also we are able to access the attributes and methods of the object. Now let's create one more method which will update the attendance. So let's create a method which is def, which will be named as update attendance. So update underscore attendance, and it will use one parameter which is attended classes, and here we will update the current attendance with the attendance which we are passing. So attendance, so first of all we have to use the self dot attendance, and we are trying to update the self. We want to add self attendance with whatever user is passing here, so we want to update it. So suppose currently the attendance is having the value 0, and the while accessing this method update attendance, user passes 10, so it will be 0 plus 10, so the value of self attendance will become 10. Let's try to do this for the student one. So currently we are displaying the information of student one us here. Now on line number 21, here I will write student one dot update attendance, and here I will write the attendance 15. So currently on line number 20 it will print the attendance as 0. After that on line number 21 it is sending 15 as the parameter, so it will use this 15 value and add it to 0. So 0 plus 15 will become 15, and after that if we try to uh, execute this line again after 21, then it will print 15. So let's execute this code here. As you can see on screen, if I make it bigger, so student one detail, then we are trying to print the detail using the display info method, which is John Doe, age, roll number, and attendance is 0, as you can see on screen. And after that we have called the student one update attendance, which is 15, so that's why it is printing 15. Let me add one print statement here, so you will be able to understand that this method is called. So I will write here update attendance is called. Let's save it. So whenever this function is called, it will first print this line, and after that it will set the value of attendance to whatever value we want it to set. So as you can see on the screen, first of all it is printing the name, age, roll number, and attendance as 0. Then we are trying to call this function update attendance by passing the value as 15. So first of all this line number 16 is printed, which is update attendance is called, and after that we are trying to again call the display info method. That's why it is printing name, age, roll number, and the attendance as 15. So currently we are able to change the information of a student object using a method. Now let's try to add two more methods. The first method will be to find out the percentage of attendance. For that we will give one more parameter, which is the total number of classes. So def, and the name of the method will be get attendance underscore percentage, and here first parameter will be self, and the second will be the total classes. So total underscore classes, and here I want to calculate the percentage. So if some user, if while accessing this method someone passes the classes as 0, then we will not do anything and we will return 0. So if total classes is equals to 0, then we will, okay, we not use semicolons, we use colons, we will return 0. And if the value of total classes is not 0, then we will uh, return the percentage of the classes. So for that we will use return, and then we have to divide the attended classes, say attendance, with total classes. So attendance, first of all we have to use the self keyword to access this. Self dot attendance divided by self, not self, here we have to use total classes, and then we will multiply it by 100. So this is the formula of calculating percentage. The total number of classes divides the number of classes we users attended, and after that we will multiply it with 100. So now let's try to execute this method by calling it here. So suppose if I go here, let me just comment this line of student number 2 because we are not dealing with it right now. So let me just comment it. For commenting, we use double quotes 3 times at the start and at the end, as you can see on screen. So now I want to access student 1 dot get attendance percentage, and currently the total number of classes which are held are 0. So it will, and currently we are returning some information. So whenever we return something, we have to store it in some variable. So here we will create a variable attendance underscore percentage, and we are storing it in this variable, and here I will print the attendance percentage. Let's save it and execute the code. Let me clear the console and execute the code. As you can see on screen, 0 is printed. Let me add some a string here. Attendance percentage. Save the code and execute it again. As you can see on the screen, attendance percentage is 0. Now suppose currently the user has attended 15 classes and the number of classes which are being taken are 30. Then what will be the percentage of attendance? So let me again use these 2 lines and paste it here, and here the total number of classes are 30. So the percentage will be 50%. Let me execute this code, and as you can see on the screen, the total number of classes which user has attended is 50%. So this is how we are calculating the attendance percentage. Now let create one more method, which is to check if a student is eligible for exam or not. The student will be eligible for exam if the uh, let me choose one criteria. If the student is having attendance greater than 60%. So let's create a def, and here I will write the name as is eligible for exam, and here the self keyword will go. After that we have to define the criteria. So percentage criteria, this is the variable, and if the attendance which we calculate is greater than this percentage criteria, then the student is eligible for exam, else it is not eligible. So we will return, first of all we have to use the self dot get attendance percentage, and the total number of classes are, suppose total number of classes are 60, and if it is greater than, so the attendance percentage which we are calculating here is greater than this percentage criteria, then the user is eligible for exam. So let's write the variable percentage criteria and save it. Now suppose uh here, as we have already calculated these things, we are not requiring this because I have already shown you how this is working. So let me comment this part of the code also. Alex, and delete this and open new terminal. Is not required for you because there are some terminal. So now I will try to find if the student 1 is eligible for exam or not. So for that, first of all I will, let's execute this code. Why, let's do this. So student 1 dot is eligible for exam. So here I want to pass the total number of classes, No, here I want to pass the percentage criteria as it is showing here. So the percentage criteria is 60%. If the user has attended more than 60% of the classes, then they are eligible for uh, giving the exam. So let's try to print the result of this method. So print this and let's see what will be printed on the screen, and then we will change the this update attendance to some other values and we'll see what will be the changes in the output. As you can see on screen, okay, I need to exit this. So I have executed and it is giving false. Why it is giving false? Let's try to execute. So currently, first of all, here we are creating a student one with the values John Doe, age, and roll number. Then we are trying to print one general statement here. After we are displaying the information, and after that we are calling the method update attendance to 15. So when we go to update attendance, it is setting the attendance attribute of the object to 15. So currently the attendance is equals to 15. So here if I write a comment, attendance is equals to 15. Okay, now we are displaying the info which is printed here. After that we are calling is eligible for exam and we are passing the criteria. So if we go to this method self percentage criteria, and here we are passing on the second line, we are returning we are having one condition here. So if this condition is true, then true will be returned, and if this condition becomes false, then false will be returned. So we are calling the method get attendance percentage and we are passing 60. So 60 is total number of classes. As you can go here, if you go to the definition of this get attendance percentage, the 60 value is the total number of classes. So total classes are 60 and the number of attended classes are 15. So here total classes is not equals to 0. So it will go to this return, and 15 by 60 into 100. So it is around 25%. That's why this value is coming as 25 and it is not greater than the criteria. The criteria is 60. So 25 is not greater than 60. That's why it is printing false. Let's try to increase this value. Currently we are setting the attendance as 15. So let's increase it to 45. And let's also do one thing. Let's print the percentages also. So it will give us some more information. So I will create one variable attendance underscore percentage equals to student one dot get attendance percentage, and here again the number of classes are 60. As you can see here we have set the number of classes 60, so that's why I'm using the same value. And if I print it attendance percentage, and let me give one column, and here I will separate it by comma and use the variable attendance percentage, and let's execute this code. And now you can see attendance percentage 75. That is why it is 2. Let me change this value to 15 again so I can show you the attendance percentage. As you can see attendance percentage 25. If I change this value to 40, then see if if student is attending 40 classes out of 60, then it will he or she will be able to give the exam or not, eligible for the exam or not. As you can see it is 66 percentage. That's why they are eligible to give the exam because 2 is printed on the screen. So in this video we have created, we have modeled an example of a student where we are having some attributes of the student which are name, age, roll number, and attendance. And we have created a calculator kind of thing where we are updating the student attendance. We are also calculating the percentage of attendance student is having, and also we are creating a method to check if student is eligible for exam or not. So this is a very good example to understand about classes and objects and the different things like how to use the init method and how to use the self keyword, how to use how to create methods inside classes, and how to access these methods. We can access the method using the dot notations. So how to use these attributes also, because in the last video we haven't passed the attributes to the methods. So in this video we have covered that also, and we have learned a lot of things in this video. So I hope you are able to understand about object and classes in Python. Please like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share with your friends on social media, and tag me, so and comment the topics which you want me to cover in this playlist. Thank you very much.